Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gray, and welcome back to Alpha to Omega. Today's episode is episode 14. So, I actually had somebody ask me about a Vexor fit, and I started tinkering around to see what kind of good independent Vexor fit we could get going. Because our one that we just kind of scrapped together from stuff we had, it really wasn't that great. Now, I know it has been a long time since we've uploaded an Alpha to Omega. I'm finally actually getting a decent schedule to where I can actually record. So, what I'm actually happy with, guys, is that we're finally getting to where we can actually start recording Alpha to Omega again. Yay! So the great thing about that is I can actually show you guys what all has transpired. So again, just like the other update video, I actually have not been idle. I've actually had a lot of skills training in this time that we've been off. So all these skills that you see here, you can see, like, going back to, like, over a month. I cannot believe it's been over a month. You know, we've been doing lots and lots of skills. I actually have, I think, gunnery all but almost completely maxed out. Like, I'm working on controlled bursts down here for what you can do on an alpha. So, that being said, somebody did ask me about a Vexor fit, and so I started tinkering around with just kind of looking at the Eve Uni and looking at what they had and, like, kind of what I wanted to do with the Vexor anyways. Because Vexors are drone boats. Their intention is to drop a bunch of drones and then let them go kill things. You not normally want to be in combat, but they specifically asked about how to make a ratting Vexor. And so I was looking at this and I went, okay, what could we do to make a ratting Vexor? We want to do a lot of damage, so we're going to use antimatters. We want to be able to clean up the wrecks so that we can make sure we're making the most off of our kills. We want to make sure we can keep the rats in place so that we have an easier time targeting them. And then we want to be really beefy, because we want to be able to do this by ourselves. So, I'll go through it piece by piece. We'll start with the high slots, then go to mids, then go to lows, so that we can kind of cover what all I decided to put on this. Now, granted, is this a perfect build? Probably not. Is this a build you can do with fairly low skills? Yes. I think the highest skill that you need in this takes like 10 hours, I believe, and it's like this thing right here. We'll get to that when we get to it. Let's just start from the top here. So the first thing we have is two guns of dual 150 compressed coil gun 1s. With antimatter charges on them. They have a 15 km fall-off range, which means we're going to be up in the thing's face, with an optimal range of 8,000. However, they do pack a punch. 28.7 DPS per second. So, now that being said, that's the computer's calculation. Then if you look over here on offense, our actual offensive DPS is 141.9, which is actually better than our one that we just scrapped together. Then we've got a tractor beam, which has a 20 km tractor pull-in range, which basically, the reason we have this is so that when we go to salvage, which has a 5,000 meter range, we can pull the wrecks in and eat them quickly. We have a stasis webifier of 10 km. Remember, our optimal range is within 8.2, so as long as we're within that 8.2, this will be effective and will help us target things even better. This just slows target speed by 50%, which makes our targeting easier because it allows things not to be able to speed tank us, and it actually allows our drones, if we use medium drones, which we'll get to those in a bit, to be able to keep up with some of the faster NPCs. Then we've got a drone navigation computer. I actually don't have the skills for this yet. I'm training it right now over here, you can see. Which, this is the one that I said probably would take the longest to be able to get up to. Just like my first video, guys, I have a nice little cold going on again. I'm sorry. But good thing we've gone full circle, eh? But this one, you can see with my skills and my, and my attributes, it's going to take 8 hours, 10 minutes, and 45 seconds. So, I mean, it's one of those things that, like, when I was looking at this in EveMon, I think it said it takes 11 hours base or something. So, I mean, it would take you a while to get all 3 ticks of this, but what this does is actually makes your drones 25% faster. So, this right here allows your drones to be faster, which allows them to keep up with things, and then since we're webifying things, it allows them to stick on top of things. Probably be a good time to come in and interject right now, just to let you guys know this audio is pre-recorded because the video software actually did not capture any of the video. So rather than re-say everything I just said in a 20-minute video, I'm just going to let me say it from the past, future, present, I guess past. Me say it, and I'm just going to kind of hover over things. That's why you see the time differential here. It's actually 7:45 now since I've actually done this recording. And the time is actually going to be 3:26 p.m. When I say a time later. Thanks, guys. Like, things will not get away because of this. Yes, hi, Autumn. Just had to make a noise? Okay. You doing okay? You look tired. I think you just woke up. Puppy just woke up. So then, next thing is a 10MN monopropellant enduring afterburner. This one's fairly cheap. By the way, this build is expensive, don't get me wrong. When you're wanting to step up from something like the Molduga or an Imicus because of your salvaging runs, this would be the next step. This would probably be one of the better combat ships you could actually build, because again, this thing is tanky. It's very tanky. Bye, Clay. But this allows you to go from 184.28 as a max speed to 375.74, which is not fast, but it's not slow either. It's for an actual combat ship. It's okay. It's not great. And then we've got a medium shield extender. Like, in all honesty, I'm still debating on this one. Like, I'm really am debating on this one, because if you look, turning it off doesn't do a ton. It just adds like 1,000. Actually, maybe it does more than I give it credit for. So it does 1,200 for our HP. Yeah, you can see right here, actual rational HP is only like 800 that it gives. And again, we're not a shield tank, we're an armor tank, so I don't know. It's kind of a... You could probably fit something else in there, so I said this build isn't perfect. It's just kind of me tinkering with a few things, and just kind of playing around with some ideas. Remember, this series is like me going in as an alpha who's only seen a few videos and thought the game was cool. So this is just kind of my idea. And then we're going to go down to low slots. I have a 1600 MN crystalline carbine restrained plates. This is what was actually recommended on the uni for doing an armor build, and I can kind of see why. It boosts your HP. Like, if I turn this offline, like, look how much this actually boosts your HP. Like, that jumps it up by almost 6,000. Almost 6,000 for just one thing. Then the next thing is, but keep in mind though, with this, okay, you need hull upgrades to 3. So you do have to have some, not end alpha skills, but some pretty good alpha skills to run everything on here. Which, again, this whole build, I think it cost me 37 million. You'll notice here I'm only down to 11 right now after we bought all this and bought ammo and the drones to go with it. And then we've got a damage control, which basically just kind of makes us take a little less damage, which is always good, right? Then we've got a medium armor repairer 1. You can actually get 2s if you really want to work at it. I believe it was 2s we could get, yeah. 2s you could get, but you can see here, it would take 4 days, 1 hour, and 23 minutes. And they are better. They are just flat out better. 368 HP versus 276. So, I mean, it's almost 100 extra. So, I mean, it would be better, and I believe it takes just a hair more power grid. So, really, if you can train that, I would. It would be worth it to have. Then we've got an energized explosive membrane, which is a 33% explosive damage resistance bonus. Now, that being said, I don't know if that just applies globally here or not. I'm going to look real quick, because I actually didn't look at that. That one was another thing from the uni. No, that is physically just to armor. Okay, that's just armor. And then we've got the adaptive nanoplating, which kind of just gives you 8% resistance bonus to everything, and I believe this one's also just for armor. Yeah, so everything here is just for armor. Then we're going to go up to rig slots. Medium Trimark Armor Pump 2, which, trust me, these are worth it to have. And then a medium anti-kinetic, which, oh, I guess I should show this. what does this actually do for you? Actually putting this on your rig gives you a 20% armor hit point bonus. I think I have to go into simulation to show you this. So yeah, now while we're in simulation, we'll destroy. Let's see, we'll go rig slots, try mark. There we go. Try mark pump 2. So while we're in simulation, make sure your ship is gray when you go to look at this. So if we take that off, we're down to 22,000. Put this back on, we're up to 25,000. Now, granted, yes, our ship goes slower with that on. You know, fair amount, about 35 meters a second loss. No, actually, it's closer to 45. But it is definitely worth it to have. Then this one is a kinetic armor pump, which again just kind of makes you more resistant to damages. See, and there's a skill completing of a drone navigation level 1. Because like I said, I had to get the drone navigation for this, so I've just automatically started at training. I've got 6 hours roughly left on it. Then we've got a medium ancillary current router. This was really just so that we could get this medium armor repairer online. But you'll notice, guys, if you run absolutely everything, you've got everything going at once. This build is not stable whatsoever. Like, let's just say, for instance, we get on top of something and we no longer need this. But we do have webifiers going, and we're just going to say that we've been in combat for a while, so we needed this armor repairer going, right? So your capacitor would actually deplete in 2 minutes. Now, let's say we just started combat, okay? You're actually fairly stable with just a webifier and just the guns running. If we turn on the afterburner, you're still pretty darn stable. This is a passive. This is a passive. So, I mean, like, these things are... It's a fairly stable build other than when you run this medium armor repair. But again, this is just so that you can rebuild yourself. Because, mind you, you have 8,000 armor. 8,280 armor. That will take a while to rebuild with this, but keep in mind, that's upwards of, 400 to 500,000 ISK that you don't have to pay out because you just rebuilt it yourself and then waited on your shields to regen, right? So that's a good thing you can do. Now, this being said, I just really should have honestly have checked to make sure that my video was recording, which it is, and then I hope my audio is recording. That's the next question that I've got to be concerned with. Which I'm going to interject here. I do find it hilarious that my video program actually said it was recording, and yet now that I go back and look at it, it actually was not recording. All it caught was the audio. So that's why we've got this, predefined audio. So I'm trying to follow along with it. I don't remember all the things I did, so if you see some things that are a little out of sync, that's probably why. Alright, so that next thing is we're going to go into what are we carrying, which is just 2,000 antimatter charges. This holds 160 each gun. So carrying 2,000 guarantees you can pretty well rat out anything as far as just general combat sight. And then as far as with that general combat sight, that also allows you to have refills for quite a while. Now, if this is not a general combat site, like say you're going to an, I forget what they're called, excursion? No, not excursion. I don't know, a thing you get from combat sites. My brain is just derping on it because it's been a long time since I've actually sat and looked at Eve. Which the term I was looking for is escalation. So if you get an escalation, you'll want to carry more armor, or ammo. Well, you get them from combat sites, and my brain is just derping on what they're called. But the ones that was the multi-level, episode 11, I think it was 10, 11, and 12 were all part of that. If you're doing one of those, you're probably going to want to pack more armor. But at the same time, or not armor, but ammo. But at the same time, you probably don't want to do it like we did in episode 12, where you're looting everything. Probably want to just take the salvage scrap and the stuff that's valuable, because in all honesty, I filled my ship to the brim on those, and yes, I did go back and watch my stuff to see what all we have done, because I was curious. It's been a month since I've actually gotten a chance to be able to sit down and look at Eve and get to play. Because right now it is currently 3:12 p.m. Central Standard Time on May 13th. My work has been running me ragged, but I'm loving it. So, that being said, this is the build that I would run because it gives you, just looking at your DPS, 112.6 DPS with your... We'll exit simulation so I can just show you guys on the actual fit. So actually, with the fit, it's 140 with my skills as well. It's 141.9 DPS, 25,859 EHP, which is, I mean, that's great. I mean, really, that's great. It's gonna take you, it's gonna take them a while to chew through you, which is what you want. You don't want to just be like go in and, well, I killed a whole bunch of things and then, poof, I'm dead. You don't want that, right? And then, you're targeting, you can target things within 57.75 km, which your drones, we'll get to that in a second. Unlike our other build, this isn't able to send drones as far as you can target. But the idea is that we're not just relying on the drones. You want to be able to kind of defend for yourself, too. Your navigation without the afterburner on is about 200 meters a second, a little less, but I mean, it's enough to get you to and from places. And then your drones, which again, we're going to get into this, is 84.5 DPS. Okay, now this is, mind you, this is current, it won't let me do it, will it? I'll have to show you in simulation. That's with my drone skills, with just base drones, just using Hobgob 1s, it's 55.2. But because we've got medium drones, we can technically ramp this up to 84.5 on the Hammerhead 1s, which these are medium drones, but they are slow. Just always keep that in mind. They are very slow. So this is kind of, you want to drop these as soon as you get on top of a target, or once you're within range to webify a target. Because otherwise these guys are going to take forever, and you want to make sure that you can get them back in your ship. Okay? But the big thing is mostly you probably want to use these Hammerhead, or these Hobgoblins, because they're faster. Until you get this online. Once this is online, then you can switch to using Hammerheads more often. Because the Hammerhead 1s, as you notice, I mean, that bumps your DPS up by a ton. I mean, up by a ton. It adds almost 35 DPS. So, I mean, or I guess just 30. It's technically 29.5. But still, that's a lot when you're thinking about just 5 drones on one target. That's going to chew through it a lot extra. On top of your 141, if you're focusing with your drones, you will chew through just about anything you put your target cursor on. Okay? Now, that being said, what are we doing today? Well, today I just kind of wanted to show this build because I actually did get a comment about it. So I was going to show off the Rat Blap, is what I'm calling it, the Rat Blap build, which is 2 dual 150 compressed coils. Once again, kind of like we did before, I'm just going to let you guys pause here if you guys want to see all this. And while you guys got that paused, I'm also going to go through skills. So, in gunnery, like I said, we have everything maxed, or near max. We're working on controlled burst, which it's going to take me another day and 11 hours. Once again, guys, always make sure you're maximizing your skills as best you can. While I've had this month off, I actually have been using EveMon, which EveMon is a great program. There are plenty of tutorials out there on how to set it up, and it'll help you track like when your skills are going off and stuff like that. Basically, when you see a skill getting into in 19 hours, the skill queue finishes. Just go and add something else to the queue. Okay, that'll help you a lot. Why is my security status up? Oh, because I've been ratting. I was like, why is it at a 0.2? I've actually never looked at that, to be honest. That's somebody messaging me. I'll check that here in a bit. But so then with drones, what do we got in drones? We got drone avionics to 4, drone durability to 2, drone navigation has to get to 3 to be able to use this right here. Medium drone operation to 2, light drone operation to 3, and repair drone. Now you'll notice this build doesn't have a repair drone because this is if you're ratting by yourself, just you. Clay and I haven't actually talked in a little while, which, by the way, Clay, if you see this video, much hearts to you, bro. Do kind of miss you. Sorry that I haven't been able to be on. But that being said, if you're really banking on the Vexor, you're going to want to get all of these skills that you see with gray dots, you're going to want to get them maxed. Every single one. Because, in all honesty, gunnery, you want to have maxed for if your primary damage is your guns. So if you were running something that's more just like turret based, you want this maxed. I maxed this stuff because I was looking at my my sniper ship of the Molduga, and I was like, how much better could I make this? And we did make it better, but it's still not great. So that being said, what I'm going to do is, this has been about a 20-minute episode video. I'm going to try and keep my videos to about 20 minutes now, guys. No more of this hour-long videos. I know a lot of people said they were really upset with them being, you know, hour-long or longer. I'm going to start getting them into 20 minutes. So much hearts to everybody, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later. Alright guys, I wanted to come through real quick and again say much hearts to everybody. I do apologize about this double layering audio. It's probably been pretty weird seeing things not quite perfectly synced. But that being said, the reason we did this was because I didn't want to lose all this audio that we literally just recorded. So while it is a little over 20 minutes, it's 21 minutes. Much hearts to everybody, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.